The bar was abuzz that evening, cigarette smoke curling about under blinking lights, laughter and curses all bent together, and the constant clinking of glasses ringing through the room. It was the sort of joint in which toughness was a defense, where men carried leather and tattoos as shield, and where the quiet ones were unseeable. In back of the counter stood Emily, a quiet waitress with weary eyes and tranquil ease that was overlooked by everyone. She glided with silent determination, topping off glasses, writing down orders, smiling politely enough to conceal the tempest that brewed behind her unflinching stare. Nobody knew her history. Nobody cared to inquire. Then the door creaked open. The distant rumble of motors outside heralded a new type of tension. A bunch of bikers walked in, raucous and cocky, swaggering as if they owned the joint. Their laughter mounted, their demeanor getting tougher by the second, and Emily tried her best to steer clear of them. And fate, as it has a way of doing, found her anyway. One of the bikers, a tall, wide one, his arms a canvas of tattoos and arrogance, looked straight at her. He began taunting her, hurling obscenities to test her temper. But Emily didn't budge. That rebelliousness, unyielding but subdued, made him even angrier. And then, right out there in front of everybody, he seized her blouse and tore it apart. The room was frozen. Gasps hung in the air. A couple of men nervously laughed, anticipating that she would break down in shame, but Emily didn't, because under the ripped clothing, on her chest shone a tattoo, the logo of the United States Marine Corps. The laughter died immediately. The room was taken over by silence. Even the biker who had embarrassed her stepped back, his face pale, his sneer lost. What he had hoped to find wasn't weakness. It was strength, a kind of strength that is born only after enduring hell. Emily was a pillar of strength, unshakable as a rock, her breath even. That tattoo was not ornament, it was a tale of bravery, sacrifice, and fights that most in the room could never even dream of. She had been a Marine, tempered by fire, tempered by tragedy, her mind full of brothers and sisters who had never come home. Now she toiled in silence, attempting to lead a normal existence, never boasting of her history until that night pushed it into the light. No one said a word. No one dared. The biker who had taunted her looked down, his face red with shame. The rest of the bar fidgeted uncomfortably, their guilt spreading like wildfire. Emily didn't yell, didn't weep, didn't unleash vengeance. She just closed her shirt, stood up straight, and walked away, unbroken, calm, and stronger than any of them in that room. Because true strength doesn't have to scream. It just stands up when the world attempts to break it. If you are a believer in hidden strength, in quiet heroes, and in the strength of kindness, spare a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Because sometimes, the strongest hearts walk among us. Unknown, but irreparable. That quiet pride was louder than any words she might have said. After that night, folks started looking at Emily in a different light. She was no longer merely the reserved woman who served their drinks and wiped down their tables. She was a warrior, one with scars too deep for any leather or chain to cover. A fighter worthy of respect, not sympathy. Whispers about that evening circulated fast in town. The news made its way from bar stools to checkout lines. From whispered rumors to genuine admiration, folks started greeting Emily warmly. Customers who used to ignore her now showed appreciation. Strangers thanked her for service, though she never requested they do so. But beneath her tranquil smile, Emily was continuing to battle an internal conflict. Her history in the military had created scars that no one could notice, endless nights of sleepless rest, recollections that gnawed on her tranquility, and a loneliness that perforated her marrow. The bar was more than just a job to her. It was therapy, something to keep her mind active, to keep the darkness at bay. And even in quiet torment, she managed to spread light, filling in shifts for younger employees, listening to customers with broken hearts, slipping an extra meal to the drifter who occasionally stopped by. Her own ache never prevented her from alleviating someone else's. The motorcyclist never returned. Perhaps shame forbade him, perhaps fear, but those who saw that moment never forgot it. In one act of strength and silence, Emily reminded them all, true power doesn't roar. It doesn't need to. It stands firm. It forgives, and it lasts. Years later, when the bar finally closed, and that night was forgotten in memory, Emily's name still haunted the town's quiet spaces. Some remembered her as the waitress with the marine tattoo, others as the woman who taught them respect. But to those who truly knew her, she was something more. A reminder that every quiet soul has a story. And some of those stories have the power to alter hearts. If this made you feel something, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support keeps stories like Emily's on the table. Stories that are a reminder that strength frequently stands behind soft eyes and weary smiles. A comment before you go. Tell us, what resonated with you most in Emily's story? Your words could encourage someone else who needs to be encouraged today. because sometimes the strongest are not those who yell the loudest or hit the hardest. Those are the ones who fight their wars in silence and still manage to stand tall. Emily's tale is a reminder that behind every silent face is a history we will never know. The world judges quickly, dismisses, and overlooks the mundane, but oftentimes the most amazing people tread among us with no notice, carrying their power not as a sword, but as a shield to others. That evening in the tavern wasn't a confrontation at all. It was a mirror held up to society, reflecting how readily we disregard courage, how frequently we forget the sacrifices borne in silence by the men and women who have served. Emily never craved applause or approval. She merely hoped for peace in a world that would not provide it often. But when thrust into the limelight, she shared a strength that muzzled cruelty, commanded respect, and reminded everyone that dignity can never be stripped. Her tale isn't about a single night. It's about all the unsung heroes among us. The single parents working 2 jobs, the veterans battling silent wars, the everyday people who get up each day with quiet courage. They might never seek to be acknowledged, but they should be all the same. So the next time you encounter a person who appears to be quiet, exhausted, or plain, recall Emily, because under the surface, there just could be a story strong enough to move the world.